Golf Channel, and the LPGA Tour proudly present the season-long race to the CME Globe. From Sylvania, Ohio, it's second-round coverage of the Marathon Classic presented by Owens Corning and OI. It's a beautiful day here just outside Toledo, Ohio. There's downtown Toledo along the Maumee River. It flows into Lake Erie. We're just about 15 minutes or so from downtown up here in Sylvania, the city of Sylvania, the city of trees. And there are many of them here at Highland Meadows. A good look from high above. It's the second round of the Marathon Classic, an event that goes back to the mid-1980s here on the LPGA Tour. It's had great champions through the years, including our defending champion I.K. Kim in the field and in our coverage here today. 6 under par was the lead after day one. It belonged to young Thai player Tidapa Suwanapura. Grant Boone and Judy Rankin looking at some of the action from earlier. Here's a former NCAA champion from Oklahoma State, the Swede Caroline Hedwall at the 12th.
Very strong player, very strong hands. She can do a lot with the golf ball.
She would tap that in to get to 7 under par. And then at the 18th, par 5, you see 119th in the race to the CME Globe, so she needs a big week. And she shot a fine round of 4 under par, 67 to take the outright lead at 9 under. American rookie from the University of Alabama, Emma Talley for birdie at the 8th. Just gets it to curl in. That took her to 7 under par. She shot 67, and she's tied for 3rd at the moment at -7. In-Ji Chun tee shot at that same par 3 8th.
146 yards today at the 8th.
She had a scrambling par at the 18th yesterday to salvage a terrific round of 5 under. She made that short putt for birdie, and then to close it out on the 9th, her last hole of the day. So she finishes birdie. She shoots a couple under, 69, and she gets to 7 under par in a tie for 3rd. The defending champion, I.K. Kim, came from behind with a 63 to win it on Sunday last year. Here she is at the 12th.
Well, she's not very tall in stature, but her golf swing fits her perfectly. Love that golf swing from I.K. Kim, and there's a really good shot.
She would make that to get to 7 under par, and she is in that logjam. Remember, at one point yesterday, we had 8 players tied for the lead. Now it's Hedwall, the Swede, at -9. Suwanapura with a 69. She is a shot back. Brooke Henderson, whom we'll see in our coverage, along with I.K. Kim at -7. Henderson looking for her 2nd win of the year. Jackie Concolino, the American, played collegiately at Vanderbilt, is having a good spring and summer, and she's -6. Christina Kim following up a 4 under par round yesterday with a good score here. And there is former number 1 in the world, Yanni Sen. 66 yesterday. She's given up a shot today. But there's the amateur Jennifer Kupcho. She won the NCAA championship from Wake Forest. Shot 68 yesterday and backs it up with an even par round of 71. She is not only going to make the cut, she's in the top 25. Judy and I are joined by Jim Gallagher Jr., 5 times a winner on the PGA Tour, major champion Karen Stupples, LPGA Tour winner Gail Graham. We're at the 12th, and we say hello to Gail.
And we're just watching Brooke get lined up. Lengthy birdie putt. She hit a bomb of a tee shot and really didn't take advantage of having a short wedge into this green. Better part of 40 feet for this birdie putt that'll slide right to left. This needs a little more pace.
As usual, her sister Brittany is by her side as her caddy. To the other side of the course, and the 4th hole, and we see former number 1 Yanni Sen. You see number 128 CME. That's the race to the CME Globe.
Well, she shot around a 66 yesterday in the first round, and what a kickstart for her if she can keep it going through the week.
To 13. And we say hello to Jim Gallagher.
Thank you, Grant. Stacey Lewis will be her second shot. Her husband, Garrett, on the bag.
Yeah.
So 106 there. That's probably the number you want, right?
Yeah.
105 shot?
Yeah. Almost right the T sign there.
Yep.
Just talking to Stacey's mum, Carol, just a few moments ago, and she was saying this is the first tournament that Stacey has really noticed a decline in distance from the tee. She's roughly about 20 yards less this week than her season average. Really starting to notice the difference of playing pregnant and playing not pregnant.
Yeah, and this will be her last week of competitive golf. Comes up about 30 feet short. I think that's just all part of the adjustments as you continue on, as she will continue on.
She said as well that she can feel it in her hips. She has to think about, you know, the baby sitting up under her rib cage. She can feel her pushing against that, so she has to take note of her breathing. It's quite a different experience.
Absolutely. IK will be next.
As you'd expect, Jim, IK been playing fairly steady, and she's created a really good angle down the right side of this fairway to this left flag. She can see all of it, and I think this is a green light.
Absolutely, Karen. You've been watching too, and it looks like the greens are still receptive today, even though they haven't had rain in them. I think we were talking to some folks 18 days. So, but the greens are still receptive. They're putting some water on them to keep them from with these hot, humid temperatures.
This is a 55-degree wedge from 100 yards. Came out a bit low.
Up there left too. Yes, way left. That's a huge mistake.
Looked like the heel dug in the ground first.
That's what it looked like. That's just a poor shot. No way to explain that one. I think it shocked her as well. Take a look at this swing here, Judy.
I'm not sure what she was thinking because she needed a high shot just right of that whole location. You see how she came over the top of it just a little. Yeah, over the top of it just a little, and then swings left along with it.
Didn't hit a lot of shots like that last year on Sunday when she shot 63 to win. Welcome to the Marathon Classic Day 2. Just looking at this leaderboard, Judy, you got 3 players in the top 6 who've never won on the LPGA Tour. You got 3 players who've won a major championship, and yet opportunities to win, even for the best players, don't come along every single week. This is a huge opportunity for someone, whether you've won or not, isn't it?
That's right, it is. And, you know, we try always to explain how hard it is to win on these professional tours, and it is darn hard to win, I can tell you that. It is really hard to win for the very first time, and there's different ways to win for the first time. Sometimes, you know, you might just play out of your mind, much like Se Young Kim did last week. Sometime you might be in the heat of the battle. Sometime you might be off a little bit early and shoot that great round of golf. All those ways are ways to win. Some are more pressurized than others. But winning is hard, and we know exactly how treasured it is when you see somebody who has won a lot, like Sung Hyun Park a couple of weeks ago at the KPMG, how they emotionally fall apart when they finally accomplish it. So, you know, that points out that it really is hard.
Caroline Headwall leads it by 1, looking for her first victory. We're going to see Stacey Lewis. We've already seen her. You know what it's like to play pregnant. It is a very different situation, very different physical feeling. She talked about it. Karen referenced it earlier. She said she's having to remind herself, keep her rib cage down. These are things that on the PGA Tour they're not worrying about.
No, they're not having that problem on the PGA Tour, even though they're having a bunch of children. But it is. It's totally different for the women who play on the LPGA Tour, and I don't think too many of them play very deep into a pregnancy. But whether you're pregnant or whether you're a mom, there's one thing that really does help playing professional golf. You manage your time extremely well. You are a busy woman, and you cannot take golf lightly.
IK Kim's third from the bunker here left.
As she has a lot of bunker to carry it, ricocheted back in.
It's probably a good break, don't you think, Karen?
I think so, although sometimes being up the face a bit on an upslope is nice too, but she handled that really well.
Yeah, 63rd in sand saves this season. Let's go over to 4.
And Yanni Sen for par. A dominant number one for 2 straight years, now 258th in the world rankings. At the 12th, Brooke Henderson for par.
No, these are not too difficult for her. She's very good at them. Good conversion. She's been rolling the ball just a little past the hole, so that one came up short. Didn't have any problem with it.
Bogey free today, 2 shots off the lead. And there is the front page of the leaderboard. Caroline Headwall, 67 this morning. Sawana Pura, 1 shot back.
Now Stacey Lewis for bird. This should be a pretty slow putt, shouldn't it, Karen?
It is. It's uphill most of the way. You might want to brake just left as it approaches the hole. She was saying that she had to make some adjustments with the putter because of her, what I consider to be quite a small baby bump.
I've had that problem myself, but it wasn't a baby bump.
And did you find the adjustments work?
It hasn't worked since. So she'll make par the 13th. Jackie Concolino, her second here at the 15th. Whole location in the back center of the screen, but the back portion of the screen goes away. Currently 6 under par. If she carries it to the hole, it'll probably release to the back. So anything just short, that should release. There you go. As you see, the green goes away. Not too bad from there. Have an uphill putt going back up the slope. A little bit of break. Caroline Headwall with a 1-shot lead with 67 this morning. Marathon Classic. We'll be right back.
Today's coverage is brought to you by Marathon, fueling the American spirit. CME Group, how the world advances. And by Win Grips, the best grips in golf.
Morgan Pressel, her third here at the 15th. Currently 4 over par. Playing it in the back of the stance, a little bump and run. There you go. There you go. That's a good shot. Really kept those hands low going through, accelerated through. Not her best day today, but gives her a chance. Currently at even par. Let's go to 12.
As we look at Christina Kim, Jim, do you have a thought about, or Judy, thought about where the cut line might go here? Right now it's even.
Well, it's hanging at even, but it could go to 1. But
it's playing a little tougher in the afternoon, isn't it?
It has about a half a shot. Yeah, and Judy and I were talking about that this morning. It's about a half a shot easier. So the greens are still receptive, but we're seeing some balls right now kind of get a little bit firmer on some of these greens.
You can't tell by that flag, but there is a little swirly wind today.
Let's take a look at our course setup here, brought to you by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, Highland Meadows. You first saw it back in 1966 at the Glass City Classic.
I'm trying to remember that.
It's changed a little since then.
Par 71 here, 3 par 5s on this golf course, and it finishes with 2 of those, which makes it a pretty interesting finish. Fairways and greens in beautiful condition, rolling at times as fast as 12 on the stimp meter. Tree lined, the rough is not really punishing, but if you miss a fairway, you can be punished by those trees.
Absolutely. Now, IK Kim for her par here, Karen.
And really, you know, that bunker shot was pretty sporty because she's left herself in a great spot just putting uphill, and really I don't see much in this at all.
Well, you got to make this to keep yourself from just kicking yourself with a little wedge in your hand.
Oh,
Oof.
my. A couple mistakes. Yep, you're right, Judy. You just cannot miss the green with a wedge. Jackie Concolino now. This is, I don't know a whole lot of break here, but it's really slow. Jackie's having, as Grant said, a wonderful season. Just to get to -7 and 2 back. Did it break? No, it didn't.
Right behind the hole it broke.
Yeah, it did everything but go in. This game can be so frustrating. It's such a good putt, though. That's what you got to kind of put back in your mind. Did everything but go in for her. A lot of good shots there. So 3 birdies on her card, 300 today, 600 total. Take a look at the leaderboard. Caroline with a wonderful 67. And Ji Chen was 69. Emma Talley's still playing some good golf. Had a good week last week. Brittany Lincecum with 68 at 6 under par. Watch out for Miriam Lee. Second here a few years ago. There's Mo Martin. And there's Lexi with a solid 68. Fought her way back yesterday after kind of a poor start. Marie Green has played some pretty good golf around this golf course. She's at 4 under. Let's go to 12.
67 for Christina Kim yesterday, and a fine shot here into the 12th. You see 88 in the race to the CME Globe, which will culminate with the CME Group Tour Championship down in Naples, Florida in November.
For all of her flamboyancy, she really technically is quite a good-looking player.
And I also think because she is so gregarious, so funny, so flamboyant, it can obscure the fact that she works really hard on her game, Judy.
Yeah, her dad, mostly her only teacher. She pretty much teaches herself, and the mechanics of what she does are quite good.
Here's a little fan watching a fan favorite here, Jim.
As she should. Brooke Henderson now her second. Looks like it's nestled down just a little bit, Gail.
It sure is. It's sitting down pretty low into this. It's not really thick rough, but it is rough, so she will end up with grass between the club face and the ball. 94 to the front to carry that bunker over the bunker. Another 8 for 102.
Yeah, these tend to come out a little bit knuckly sometimes, but it looks like she lofted it nicely.
She hit it really good.
Oh, wow, what a shot. Yeah. It helps to be strong to get out of that stuff. It doesn't look very deep, but it's thick. Let's go to 14.
And the par 3 is where we find Stacey Lewis.
And this is an 8-iron. This whole playing 151. The wind, as Judy was saying, is starting to pick up a bit.
All right, the Northwest Ohio Chevy dealers are sponsoring this 14th hole, the 2018 Camaro LT. With great safety technology, rear vision camera, rear assist park, lane change alert, and much more.
Looks pretty good to me.
What's the coolest car you ever owned?
Oh, you know,
Of course, in Midland, it's a lot of trucks out there.
I haven't had a lot of cool cars. The coolest car I ever wanted to own was a 57 T-Bird.
Oh, I think they sang about that, didn't they? Somebody.
Probably. I wasn't old enough, but I sure loved them.
Okay, Karen, disappointing bogey for IK Kim at
Well,
13.
Well, she's using a 7-iron here, and I think that she can actually get this one close. I like this club for IK. I thought Stacey might be pushing that 8-iron. Just needs to fade a little. These greens starting to firm up just a bit this afternoon, guys.
Yeah, the color is not bright green on our screen any longer,
No.
but getting a little bit of a brown tinge.
Now, sometimes you'll see players and caddies go sprinting down this 14th hole. Oh, keep an eye on it. Angel Yen is in that group. There's no telling what she'll do. I don't think Stacey is going to be running. She's walking for 2 now. Caroline Headwall is your leader by 1. We're back to marathon in a bit. One of the great traditions of the marathon is that the NCAA individual champion and one member of the winning team get to play a couple of months after their NCAA performances. And this is Bianca Pagdanana from the University of Arizona. Her heroics helped the Wildcats to the national championship in the team competition. This is at the 16th from Quezon City in the Philippines. Back-to-back birdies, and we've got Jennifer Cupcho, the individual champion, already in at 3 under. There's her coach, Laura Iannello, who just got, this is what happens when you win national championships, 5-year extension. Well earned, I say.
There are, those are the spoils of victory.
We are at the 14th, and Karen, did you go sprinting down the fairway? We went to break, I didn't see.
Absolutely not. This pack is very heavy. It weighs me down.
I
and,
understand.
you know, I just don't want to look like a fool.
I.K. Kim just missed a short par putt at 13. Judy, this was after a really fine bunker shot. Take a look and see if you see anything here.
No, I really don't think there's anything to see, but she very often almost seems as though she tries to hold the face square coming through. And I don't think she ever sort of just lets the face swing normally. And it seems like that should work on a short putt, but the fact is it doesn't, because you don't get the ball started off the way you want to. If that were the case, everything would be stone still, and you would I'm trying to think of help me, Jim, a good way to describe that.
Just have to release the putter head.
Yeah, well, yeah, but a lot of people feel like if they just try to hold it square, they can't hit a bad putt. But the truth is that doesn't work.
No, it's almost on an arc, but it's not an arc, but there's that motion to it.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. I'm sure I've confused half the golf world.
No.
But just remember that the toe of the putter has to move ever so slightly.
Well, and of course, then you're trying to match the speed as well as you try to roll it in. She clearly was aggressive there to 13.
And he parked for birdie here at 13.
Just a little bit uphill and very, very slightly from her right to left.
Oh, needs to go. Yep, there it is.
Just
Nice
enough.
three, yes. It's a nice putt after a couple back-to-back bogeys, so good bounce back. Back to 14.
All right, and here is I.K. Kim for birdie. Karen?
And this is one that, as you guys were saying, you really do need to go ahead and release the putt head, especially on left to right putts, which this one is.
So much easier to do it, though, when you have a putt of some length.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only people who really can keep the putter maybe absolutely square through are people who get very close to the ball, who have the putter, you know, almost perpendicular to the ground. Now just watch the putter come through. Now you see, that's exactly what we're talking about. When you're talking about a 3-foot putt, you're talking about just a little minimal move of the same fashion. That's the natural way to putt.
Back to 13.
Yeah, Brooke Henderson now for birdie at 13.
Delicate one, Jim. Downhill, a little left to right.
Wow.
Just needed a little more speed to hold that long.
Sure did. Yanni Sen now for birdie at 5. This has actually been a very difficult hole. Second toughest on the golf course, more the location. This to get the -4. Hasn't won since 2012, but still has the passion and the fire. Nice interview with Karen yesterday and talked about that. Needs to get the putter going, and that's where she struggled. Up in the 140s and putts per greens in regulation, 143rd to be exact. So that's been the struggle lately. Over to 14.
Well, we heard a roar. This was Stacey Lewis for birdie.
And it's just really free-flowing with this putt. Looking forward to the next chapter of her life.
And much needed after a 3-under par 68 yesterday. You see, she gave those 3 shots back in the first 5 holes, but still scratching and clawing. The Toledo native only lived here for a very short while, moved away when she was still a youngster.
Can you attribute it to your caddy?
I think so. Her husband, Garrett, head golf coach at University of Houston. Jackie Concolino, number 50 in the race to the CME Globe. Her second shot. How far downhill are we talking here, Judy?
Well, it's at least a club downhill, but she has hit a big monster drive. That is a perfect shot from the tee to just leave next to nothing down the hill, and not much of a shot. She took no advantage of that great shot from the tee.
The ladies head over across the pond here in a couple of weeks. The men are playing the Aberdeen Standard Investment Scottish Open at the same course where the women will play, Gullen. And we've got coverage for you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Our own Trevor Immelman, Golf Channel colleague, is in the top 10. Ricky Fowler also contending there. Here is the reigning, not just Marathon Classic champion, Karen, but like you, a champion of the Ricoh Women's British Open, IK Kim.
And I really don't know if there's any similarities between the two types of courses.
You liked this course when you tore it up when you came here just a few days after winning the Ricoh.
I did. I always enjoyed playing this course. I had a natural fade, and I think there's a lot of holes out here where that actually comes in quite handy. I used to hit the ball quite high. I used to land in softly on these greens, and that was a big advantage. I think what IK does so well is that she's normally so good with her wedges. I mean, the last hole was just something I was not expecting to see from her.
Let's see if she can bounce back from the short miss for par at 13.
Karen talks about hitting high, soft fades. You wonder why she's doing television.
She can still hit it, trust me. I saw it a couple of weeks ago. Forgive me for asking this if it's so obvious. At the 16th, Jackie Concolino, not going to be thrilled with where this approach came to rest, but a birdie putt nonetheless. Oh, that's not in yet. Goodness.
That is just really not the way to play after. I don't know that you could take your hand and put the tee shot in a better place than she did at 16.
Tied for 6th, back to the 5th.
Yeah, Yanni Sen now for her par is to stay at -3. That's a good stroke. That's a solid, good rhythm to that one. A couple bogeys at 3 and 4, so par's a good score at the 5th. Let's go to 14.
And a good look at this par 3 with the Camaro on the line, Gail.
It's a beauty.
This is Austin Ernst.
This hole 151 today. Just a little breath of wind, nothing that'll really affect the tee shot at all. And an 8-iron for Austin. It's coming in a little left of the flag.
Not far from where Stacy just made one a minute ago. To 15.
Yeah, Stacey Lewis's tee shot here at the 15th. A little dogleg right, Karen.
Well, and most players trying to hug that right side. It is easy to run out of room on the left, and Stacey, I think, is going to be just fine.
Yeah, trying to get the bounce through the rough there. It does. Sounded a little bit on the bottom of the club face. Not as solid, but it's still in the fairway. Back to 14.
Well, Brooke Henderson, when she won her major, she made an ace at the KPMG Women's PGA and won a car. Maybe she'll win another one.
And she gave that one to Brittany. She could keep this one for herself.
Leads the field in greens in regulation. She doesn't appear to like it.
It's quite a bit left of her target.
She has a little hang on in her finish. She doesn't quite let her body turn all the way through. She's hanging on as though she's in fear of a hook.
There's an example of hitting a green in regulation, but a shot that you're really not very happy with.
8-iron in your hand,
Yeah.
something of that nature. These players expect a lot. They expect a birdie opportunity.
Brooke and Annie have won this year. Austin Ernst won like in 2014. This is the 16th, and Morgan Pressel. Cut is at even par. She needs this. Okay, she's got back-to-back par fives. Cut line's even par at the moment.
17 is reachable if you crack it off the tee for a player like Morgan. The same is the case with 18, although it is very difficult, I think, to hit the 18th green.
To 15.
Yes, IK Kim on the tee.
Typically a very straight driver of the golf ball. This one, as we said, ideally you want to try and keep it down the right side. But this one is going left, Jim.
That's going to be her first miss fairway if it does miss. That's just barely a miss. I almost count those sometimes because that's only a foot out of the fairway. Back to 16.
Well, after a near perfect tee shot, this is Concolino for par. Okay.
An escape that should have been a good birdie opportunity.
6 under, tied for 6th. Looking for a breakthrough victory. Get a unique perspective on the biggest stories during Open Week as Mike Tirico brings you his Vantage Point, featuring a sit-down interview with Ricky Fowler, compelling features, and a roundtable discussion with some of golf's premier storytellers from Carnoustie, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If Mike's hosting it, I'm going to bet it's pretty good.
Yeah, one of the best guys, not in television, but just
Period.
anywhere.
No question. How about Bianca Pagdananan as she makes her way up the 17th? Well, it was back in May that Bianca and her Arizona Wildcats found themselves in a tough spot there at Karsten Creek in Stillwater, Oklahoma. They were scratching and clawing with Baylor for the 8th and final spot to get into match play. And this was Bianca with an eagle putt on the 18th. Just perfect. And so then it was Arizona and Baylor in that playoff. Nothing quite like the NCAAs. And then on the second playoff hole, this was Pagdananan with a fantastic approach. She would make the birdie, and Arizona would get that 8th and final spot. And what do? They won the table, and Haley Moore closes it out, defeating Alabama in one of the great stories of the year. The Wildcats and Coach Lara Ianello get their first NCAA team title since 2000.
Nothing quite like team golf when it goes well.
And so we talked to Bianca about that victory and earning a spot here at the marathon.
It was very fulfilling for me just because it's always been my dream to win as a team. I mean, it's also nice to win it as an individual, but it's nice to just celebrate with a group of people with you. So I did not expect any of that. I guess I was too focused on the game that I forgot about the assumption and that they had to choose one from the team, but I'm also really grateful and honored that Coach chose me.
That's always a tough choice for a coach, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, it is, and what a great honor, and excited about playing, I'm sure. Now, this is her third from the bunker. A location on that left side, so not a lot of green to work with. There's so much talent in the college level. I've got a daughter still playing at LSU, and it's just amazing every year how much better they get. Oh, that's just a little bit unlucky. Yeah, no harm done. You still have a chance for birdie. Just a moment ago, IK Kim second here at 15.
And it is slightly downwind now. This from 167. And I think she's going to have difficulty getting to stop from that lie.
especially with this middle of the green going away. Yeah, you're right, Karen. That's how the greens have firmed up. You're exactly right. You said, oh, that nestles down on the last hole. How much firmer they've gotten. Let's go back 1 to 14.
And a birdie putt, lengthy one for Brooke Henderson.
It is lengthy, but it's like it's in a trough coming across this green. We'll slide a little left to right. Looks like it's carrying good speed.
Tied for third, 2 shots back. We go back to 50.
Yeah, Stacey Lewis's second shot, Karen.
And I really think she absolutely busted that drive for her, because just 147 left to this hole. Again, downwind.
Oh, this is really good.
Got to judge that release.
Yeah. You got to talk to it sometimes, Grant. It listens. I swear it does. Doesn't seem like it, but it listened to Stacey. Garrett, yeah, good shot, babe. Caroline Headwall with a 1-shot lead. Marathon Classic, Sylvania, Ohio. We'll be right back. Back at the 17th, we saw her chip shot. Bianca now for birdie. She had a pretty good season, though. 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s. She was at Gonzaga, then transferred to Arizona. It was a good place to move to. And there's a good putt. But a good season, obviously, as Judy said, when you win as a team, there's nothing like it. Now, IK Kim really sitting down here, carrying her third.
It is. She has a couple of things in her favor, though, Jim. She is back up, hilled all the way to the hole, so she can actually be aggressive through this shot.
Looks like she might play it back in her stance, really keep those hands low going through, a little more of a run shot.
And if you open the club face too, it will pop out.
Okay, like you said, going up that slope, that's good. It's really tough to judge coming out of this rough. It's just kind of gnarly. That one was sitting down about as bad as we've seen today. Just sticky, I guess is the better way to describe it. Over to 6.
Had a birdie putt here for Yanni Sen. 5 under when she started the day. She was one of the, well, she did everything well when she was number 1, but she was a terrific putter, and she has talked about being surprised at how much of a struggle it's been with the putter.
Angel Yin, it's her third shot, Karen. This is probably a safe play.
I think so. I mean, but she made a mistake though, Jim. She should have been having a birdie opportunity. She had just about 100 yards to this hole, so the wedge was not very well controlled distance-wise. And she has the kind of power to be a big force on the LPGA Tour. If she could just gain a little bit of control with those short shots.
Yeah, managing your way around the golf course, I think that's a learning curve that it takes a while. You can't always overpower everything, but as you said, there's so much talent there. It's just breaking through and not being so hard on yourself going through that process.
Jim, she's got the things you can't coach, though,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't teach some things.
You can teach course management,
yes,
right?
You can definitely do that. I totally agree. Judy agree with that, I'm sure, too. But that's one of the hardest things to teach young players. And speaking of people that manage themselves, I mean, Stacey Lewis is one of those.
And it's been, well, I think IK is going to go first.
Okay. Yep.
And then what has been interesting, I mean, I'm kind of thinking that you got me thinking about Stacey Lewis. We'll get to that in a minute. But IK Kim's putt, she knows exactly what it does. She watched it. But it is that length that it will move a little to the right. And if you're trying to keep it straight back, straight through, you really have to focus on getting the ball started on the right line, on the right spot.
Yeah, the putt she missed at 13 was a little more of a left to righter. No, nothing wrong with that stroke. So she'll make par. It's her first missed fairway of today.
And so, Jim, when you were talking about Stacey managing her game, she totally has done that throughout the course of her career. But what we're seeing, what I'm seeing today, is a slightly different player. She doesn't have the same clubhead speed because she's having a baby. She can't quite generate the same amount of speed that she has done. So her shot selection has to be a little bit different. And it is quite an adjustment to make as a player when you're standing over shots on holes that you're used to hitting 9-irons into, and all of a sudden you're hitting the 6-iron into.
I agree. And also the mental side of it, the fatigue, all those factors play in. But birdies at 14 and 15 get back to 2 under par. Let's go up to 17. Jackie Concolino, her second here at the par 5. Hadn't had an eagle here yet. Had 6 here last year. Look how far she got that ball on the heel.
Yeah. It's almost like she moves the club forward before she draws it back.
Yeah, Fuzzy used to do a little bit, but used to sneak up on it a little bit more than that, but she just laid that up. 15th tee, Brooke Henderson.
Yeah, and Brooke likes to turn the ball from right to left. This tee shot needs to go a little left to right. So pretty much start it over the trees and bring it back.
Yep, that's going to be perfect right
It'll
there.
work. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Her tee ball sounds to me like she hits it so flush, so often.
Solid a lot of times. You're
Yeah.
right. There's a different sound to it. No question about it. Let's go up to 16.
Winner here back in 2015, Chella Choi. Won a playoff with Hana Jang, who now plays full-time in Korea. How about that? 15 straight pars and a birdie. That's, I think, evoking that reaction. An eagle putt of the 18th for Catherine Perry. She could use it. 166. The race to the CME Globe. Oh, she knee knocked it right in. Okay, 5 under par, pair of rounds in the 60s. We talked about what a week of opportunity this could be. Caroline Hedwall, Tidapa Suwanapura, both looking for their first LPGA Tour titles. Brooke Henderson looking for her second this season.
He wants some veggie straws.
How's Paul Bleem
Please.
doing?
He does.
Oh, he wants them.
Yeah, he wants some.
I see you, Bleemer. No, I don't. No.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. So she's
I've
giving
already
you
had my
some.
veggies. On the tee at the 16th defending champion IK Kim.
And with this hole being downwind, the left bunker, I do believe, is in play for IK. It's about 230 to carry it, so she ought to be just a bit right of that. And I think that's pretty peachy.
Yeah, look good taking off.
Among the shorter hitters statistically on the LPGA Tour. Usually rather accurate. Judy, take us through this par 4 16th.
Yeah, 400 yards, but maybe it doesn't play quite that long. You can see where the fairway ends, where that 230-yard carry bunker is on the left, but the fairway ends at a point where you have to be a little bit careful if you're super long, but mostly you're trying to keep the ball in the fairway on top of a big hill. It drops way down to this green. The hole today is very deep in the green, 27 paces. And from up top to play down to this green, you have such a beautiful view. And if you drive the ball well and you don't tuck it too close to the right side, I think you should give yourself a birdie opportunity.
IK Kim had a bit of a renaissance in her career at the end of 2016. She won over in Asia. And then she won at the ShopRite in June of last year. Then she won here in July. Then she won in August the Rico Women's British Open, which of course is a major championship. Take a look at her 7 career victories. You see the huge gap from the Lorena Ochoa event in 2010 to that Asia event in 2016.
Well, she had the disappointment of actually losing the ANA when she missed a short putt on the 18th hole, went to a playoff, and eventually did lose that championship. But the fact is, she's always been a consistent and fine player.
Jackie Concolino, her third here at the par 5 17th. Should be a pretty good angle. Whole location on that front portion of the green. Ooh. Coming in low. Well, that's what she meant to do. Okay, that'll work.
It's a clever shot.
It was clever. Looked like she took a little more divot, but that worked. Now, Brooke Henderson second here at the 15th.
Actually, Jim, I think we're going to Annie.
Okay, that's what they're trying to figure out right here.
They've got, they both have this exact same yardage.
Yep, Annie's going to go.
Yeah, 110 to the front, 119 to the hole.
There's a little bit kind of a recoil on that, trying to get it to spin. Just hard at that green. That's a really tough location, but not too bad. The putt's pretty easy going up the slope, so that's not a bad leave actually. Now Brooke will be next.
And again, 119 to the hole.
She's pretty long off the tee, long enough to where she plays a lot of short irons to greens, and I think that is one of her strengths.
Yeah, 5th in total driving, 3rd in greens in regulation this season. It was a pretty good combination.
And the key is, though, Judy, try to get it nice and tight into those pins. Give yourself opportunities.
She's one of the few that spun, but like I said, just a short iron in there. But the greens are firming up a little bit. This green right here, as the week goes on, is, I think, one of the firmer greens on the golf course, or it has in the last 2 or 3 years that I've covered this. 16.
IK Kim plotting her next move here.
If we want to take, do you want to go to the box at 7, you know? It's pushing it a bit, let's play 32. Yeah? Agree?
Yeah.
She's got 156
How much
to the
left
hole.
to right?
Yeah, the wind is a touch left to right.
That tree up ahead, Karen, any factor?
Her angle, she's there's a lower branch that's hanging down just a bit on the right edge of it. I think she'll be fine. She's using an 8-iron. That should be plenty of height for her to get over that tree with. This looks pretty good, Judy.
And don't you know, as soon as you give it a little room to run out,
It
it
holds
sits right away.
every time.
That's why the game's so much fun.
Does the downhill mitigate some of the run out here at 16? Because like at 15, we see the ball just take off.
Well, clearly, scientifically, the ball is dropping from farther up. so it might make a difference.
All right, we're looking from behind here at Stacey Lewis, Karen.
And because she's furthest to the right, she does have more of that tree to deal with. I think Stacey is very comfortable moving the ball left to right. I think that's probably what she's going to try and do. That way she doesn't have to go over the very tallest part of the tree. And that was low.
Go.
And that's part of the club head speed issue. You know, the ball just doesn't get up in the air, and that's worked out very nicely.
Yeah, after clipping the tree, that's pretty good.
But this green is pitched from back to front, which is why it's stopping a bit quicker.
She'll have that for a third straight birdie. Even though she wasn't crazy about the strike. 17.
Yeah, Concolino for her birdie here at 17. Hit a nifty little wedge shot just to get the -7 and 2 under on her round today. Just 1 under today. Couple birdies and a bogey. Make that 3 birdies and a bogey. So 2 under around, -7. So just 2 shots back. So still has a par 5 18th to play. Got a chance to make eagle there, but Headwall still with that 1-shot lead. We'll be right back.
Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour welcome you back to Sylvania, Ohio, just a few miles north of downtown Toledo. It's the Marathon Classic presented by Owens Corning and OI. Grant Boone, Judy Rankin, Jim Gallagher Jr., Gail Graham, Karen Stupples, and our entire Golf Channel crew looking at Toledo-born Stacey Lewis. And a tough start after a 68 yesterday, but at the 14th from long range, the mom-to-be delivers a birdie, and that gets her under par to -1. And then she followed it up with this second shot at 15.
Really good drive there at 15. Set her up for this.
Easy. Sit. Sit.
Let's go forward to sit. It sat. And it came to rest about 2.5, 3 feet away. She would roll that in for birdie, and Stacey is back at 2 under. Here's the leaderboard up to date. Caroline Headwall, the Swede, with a 67, looking for her first victory. So is Tidapa Suwanapura from Thailand. They are 1 and 2. Brooke Henderson on the course in our second round coverage, just a couple of shots back. Christina Kim shot 67 yesterday, has backed it up well. Brittany Marchand of Canada. You may have seen her make an ace at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship a couple of weeks ago in the Chicagoland area. She is continuing to play well. Had a top 10 finish last week in Oneida, Wisconsin. Chella Choi won this event a couple of years ago, 2015 to be precise. And there's the NCAA champion Jennifer Kupcho, 68-71. How impressed have you been?
Pretty good playing, and she has the golf swing to back it up.
Daniela Darkea, her career low, the first player on tour from Ecuador, a 64. And at one stretch earlier today, she had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in consecutive order on her card.
Brooke Henderson for birdie here at 15.
The beginning of this putt is a little bit downhill. At the end, it goes a little uphill, left to right.
Yeah, he had the speed, just didn't get out there.
Just a little on the low side.
Yeah, such an influence to that back portion of the green. It's really tough to make yourself get it far enough out of the hole. Yanni Sen, her third here at the 7th. It's par 5. Hole location on that front portion of the green, so it should be pretty accessible. There you go. Spun it. Actually, one of the first shots we've seen actually go backwards when it landed on the green. So good, solid wedge shot for Yanni.
Jackie Concolino playing very well. She is tied for 3rd place. And what is the favorite Seinfeld episode for that New York native, Jackie Concolino? Let's find out in this Quick 9 with George Savarikas.
Let's start the clock now. This is Quick 9 with Jackie Concolino.
Hi.
First question for you. Favorite club in your bag?
Driver.
How many Yankees games have you been to in your life?
3.
Okay.
Well, not including the ones in Tropicana Field, so probably like 5 or 6.
Better Seinfeld episode, Soup Nazi or the Marine Biologist?
Master of your domain.
Well played, well played. What's your spirit animal?
Ooh, spirit animal? I would say like a tiger. I love tigers. I love Tiger Woods. And then tigers, so it all kind of goes together, yeah.
Thanks for talking me through that one.
Sure.
That's Quick 9.
All right, it's a summer of George. You can go to golfchannel.com/quick9 for more Quick Nines with George Savarikas. After the birdie at 17, Jackie Concolino. Interesting, Judy, to hear her say that she is, and Karen, who's now caught up with Jackie, she's talked about not working so much on her game itself, but working on the mental side of things. She believes she can be really good.
I like the word she used. She said, I'm going to be more calm on the golf course. And as we all know, it's at least while you're playing the game, calmness is usually rewarded.
Well, and working on the mental side of it too is it's something that you can't see. You can look at your swing, you can analyze it, you can see it, but the mental side of it, unless somebody tells you, you really don't know that you have a problem in that area. And I think that once you're aware of it, it can make all the difference in the world for a player. This tee has been moved up today.
Hey, Jim, talk about a recoil. Did you see that?
And this is perfect, guys.
That would hurt.
It's safe at the bottom, we hope.
All right, that is worth a second look. Brought to you by Versant Health.
Boy, moves way off the ball with her upper body and takes a flying run at it from a high position at the top of her backswing. And she doesn't hold that finish for very long. It looks like she does right here, but the fact is, when you see it in real speed, there is a big, quick recoil.
She doesn't get cheated, does she?
No.
That is a second look brought to you by Versant Health. She is a brash player. Loves the competitive element of the game. This is the 16th and IK Kim for birdie. Okay. Sometimes you make a good stroke and they don't go in. That looked good.
Caitlin Dambaugh, this for birdie. Having a little bit of everything today. Currently 4 under par, but 5 birdies, 4 bogeys, and a double. All-American from South Carolina. Let's go over to 18.
And we have a third shot for Bianca Pagdananen with her coach at Arizona, Laura Iannello, looking on, caddying for her. What Gail called Jennifer Kupcho's third shot young nerves yesterday. That took some touch, didn't it?
Well, it did. The one we saw yesterday was flown on the green very softly. That was a little bump and run up the hill. Probably the only shot she had.
Playing with Laura Diaz, and Laura was impressed with Bianca yesterday. Said she has a lot of polish for a collegiate player.
Second shot for Christina Kim here at the 15th. That's down in that rough. Maybe if she can carry it on the front, that came out with a lot of grass. It should release when it hits. Oh, look at that bounce. Oh, this is really good. Better than good. Oh! And then really unlucky. I don't know if she's going to complain, though, for that lie. What a shot. Back to 16.
Well, this is a longer par putt than Stacey Lewis would have imagined. After back-to-back birdies, 3-putt. And again, the cut at the moment is even par. Half the afternoon wave is going to finish, or half the field will finish on this back nine with back-to-back par fives. So no guarantee by any means that the cut will move to +1, Jim.
Jillian Hollis, this for birdie at the 9th. This is her final hole. Of course, her mom got her sponsor's exemption. I talked to Sharon earlier. Sharon and my wife Sissy walked a lot of miles watching our daughters play, so missed opportunity to that, and that's going to drop her. She's right now tied for 73rd at 1 over. So she's going to need some help to make the cut. There's now a pro. 73.70. Bright future for her, though.
Outside chance to make the cut.
Yep. Now Christina Kim for birdie. Just to get to -6 and just 3 back. I was cut across it. Yeah, you can always tell when they start walking towards it, but that was just a cut across stroke. Maybe a misread. Didn't trust the read, but good par from where she drove it. So Christina Kim with par at 15. Headwall still with that 1-shot lead. We have plenty of golf left at the Marathon Classic.
Bianca Pagdananan from the University of Arizona for birdie at the 18th.
Pretty
so
putt.
Both of our NCAA participants are going to finish on 3 under, and forget about just making the cut. They're in the top 25. So Jennifer Kupcho goes 68-71. Bianca goes 71-68.
Yeah, we watched that shot that Yanni hit in here. This for birdie to get to -4. Really solid week. Oh, a little bit of a pop stroke. That's, like we've said, that's been the shortcoming this season, really lately. When she was at her best, she was 6th putts per green in regulation. Now she's 143rd this year, so that is a drastic change. Ball striking still there, but she said in her interview with Karen, that's the thing that's really held her back. It's just been her putting and consistency with it. To 16.
As we look at Team Henderson here, Brooke and Brittany, we have a fellow Canuck following Gail. What has Brooke Henderson meant to sport, not just golf, but sport in Canada?
Wow, you know, it's been a while since we've had kind of a name out there in women's golf, and she's taken it by storm, and the fact that she's so young has really given license to a lot of kids picking up the game because of it. You know, she's got no fear, and she projects a lot of great things. Works very hard on her golf game. And that's an okay shot. She didn't have any tree trouble there, but you know, she's a gift to Canada right now. Really providing a lot of motivation for a lot of players.
Hardly takes any weeks off, and thus she is among the leaders in a lot of categories. Let's take a look at our top 10s leaderboard, brought to you by Leaders Cosmetics. Ariadne Tonagarn front and center, number 10. But there's Brooke with 6, and one of those 6 was a victory at the Lotte Championship in Hawaii. Our top 10s leaderboard, brought to you by Leaders Cosmetics. She is 2 wins shy of tying Sandra Post for the most wins by a player from Canada. And won't even be 21 until September.
Yeah, you know, a big part of this player's charm is that she has this winning, lovely personality. It kind of defies the fact that she is so competitive.
She really is.
But I think you grow up a little hockey player, a goalie, and competitiveness runs through your veins.
The PGA Tour is in the Quad Cities for the John Deere Classic, and we've got third round coverage for you tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Defending champion Bryson DeChambeau had to withdraw because of a shoulder injury. Hope he's okay. Heading into the Open next week at Carnoustie. Karen, we are looking at Jackie Concolino after a long tee shot at the par 5 18th.
It was a tremendous tee shot. The unfortunate thing is it's left her with a really awkward lie. It's on a really heavy downslope. The ball is slightly above her feet. She's going to have to really pay attention to where the club hits the ground. An ideal situation would be to try and hit a fade, but you've got to really go down with the lie. She's only got 157 to the hole, 146 front.
We see her adjusting her shoulders.
Well, where she is, it actually makes you want to aim a bit right. So you have to try and fiddle it as much left as you can. This came out not surprisingly low.
You know, the big move off the ball does not lend itself to playing from a hill like that. And so that would be particularly awkward for her.
One more look. Well, she's 2 shots off the lead. She'll have a third shot at this par 5 18th, looking for her first career victory. Brooke Henderson, as you see there, tied for third place. She has a birdie putt at the 16th. Gail Graham is there.
Pin high, 30 feet. It's going to come up the hill a little bit, then flatten out. Maybe the last 2 or 3 feet are very slightly downhill. This looks like it has to go.
That to stay 7 under.
Check this out. Little driver off the deck for IK Kim, 259. These shots usually go a little bit low and to the right. There's your low. A little cutter.
Boy, can she find that little runway?
Oh, my. Can she? Is that any good? It'll fit. That'll work. That's a good shot. That's a daring shot when you're playing as well as she has.
While we have a moment, let's take a look, a second look at that swing, brought to you by Versant Health.
What you're trying to do with this golf swing is hit the ball really flush. You are not trying to elevate the ball. Whatever little bit the face will give you, take it, but don't try to hit it up high. Just try to hit it as solid as you can, and you're going to hit that low little cut, just like Jim said, and boy, she did it right on command.
Our second look brought to you by Versant Health. Third shot at the par 5 18th for Concolino.
And you can tell she's just going to bump it in and try and run it. And that's a really smart play.
A lot of amateurs try to go up in the air, Karen, with that shot.
They do, and it just didn't look very comfortable to me to even try the air route.
She'll have that for birdie to get to 8 under, 17.
Yeah, Stacey Lewis is third here at 17. Got the fairway. 87 players at 1 over or better. That's our cut line. She should be able to spin this from this distance. One little bounce. Oh, overspun. A bit unlucky. I think that landed on the green. That might have released a little more forward, but it hit into that little bitty fringe and killed it. But that's not a bad leave. Went up the slope. There's the cut line. You got Brittany Lang 1 over. Morgan Pressel needs a little bit of help here. Needs a big finish. There's Paula Kramer below that cut line. There's Stacey at 1 under. So Young Kim. So it's touch and go. It's been back and forth even in 1 over. So it's hard to say. Golf course is firming up. So we'll see. Over to 8.
Yanni Sen was 1 shot back when the day started. She's got this birdie putt at this par 3, her 17th hole of the day. Judy, she told Karen yesterday, yes, I can come back and I can be better. That's hard to imagine. She was dominant 109 straight weeks at number 1.
I give her tremendous credit for the effort she has put in. You know, she made a lot of money when she was number 1 in the world, and she probably could have gone off to Never Never Land, but she is fighting this monster of, you know, the depths of whatever you get in.
And
you
she's
just
doing it.
Can't play well.
She's doing it in front of us,
Yes.
risking the embarrassment. So there you go. There have been 4 players to go over 100 weeks at number 1. Lorena for 158 straight, Yanni for 109 straight, Lydia back and forth, same for Envy Park. And Envy is the current number 1. Lydia twice a winner here. Jackie Concolino not worried about world rankings at the moment, worried about making this birdie putt. But first, Morgan Pressel. We said she had a chance to make the cut. She needs this.
Well, and she raced her little pitch way past. And a lot of work left to do here. One thing Morgan Pressel is, though, and that's a fighter.
There seems to be a little bit of a changing of the guard in Solheim Cup play. Morgan Pressel was such a stalwart of Solheim Cup teams for a number of years. She was a great, great match player. And I think we're starting to see some new faces on the Solheim Cup teams.
Karen, you remember going against Morgan, don't you?
I sure do. She was just relentless. I mean, I was given, you know, she would give up yardage to me off the tee, but she would put it in there close all the time and make putts. And I remember playing her against her and her hitting some tremendous bunker shots. I'm like, how in the world did she pull that off?
Back 1 to 17.
Yeah, Katie Kim's third with that driver off the deck from 259. Couple options here. She can just bump it into the fringe, but looks like she's going to loft it up, maybe land it just onto the green. Going to use the bounce on this. Oh, will it spin? Yeah, I think the shot, Judy, was probably a little more of a bump and run than that flying on the green. I think that'd have been a little safer shot.
It tried to grab, but could not.
Yeah, it's firm enough out here, so that's the hard thing. It catches that bounce and then bounces over.
At the 18th, Jackie Concolino has a birdie putt in her sights.
Well, and she knows exactly what it does. Her ball was exactly on Morgan Pressel's line. Morgan had to move her marker out the way. Jackie had to move her marker out the way for Morgan to putt, so she knows what this does. And I think when you're a player, that's kind of an ideal situation to be in. You can actually be confident on your line and be confident on your stroke.
She did hit it where she aimed.
Well, a tee shot that looked great in the air. Left her with an awkward second. Couldn't get up and down for birdie. Still tied for third. 7 under.
Back at the 17th, IK Kim for birdie. I looked at her stats, and although that's not considered scrambling where she was, she's 109th in scrambling, so it's not the best part. Everything else is pretty solid, so maybe that's why the shot we saw with that result. But you can make up for that decision and make this putt for birdie.
Isn't that the truth, though? The putter makes you when you play well, and it totally fixes you when you don't.
You are dead on. She didn't hit it, or did she? She did. Oh, it just did break.
Good putt.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating. Get it down there and have a 25-footer for birdie. Over to 18.
Paula Creamer needs to make birdie or eagle to have a chance to make the cut. Dave Brooker, her caddy, says headed left. Careful here.
That dried out area has seen a little bit of traffic, and it looks a little bit like Scotland looks right now.
There will be some room to work with on the green, but she'll need to get that up and down to have a chance to make the cut. 17.
Yeah, Stacey Lewis now for birdie. Might have got a little bit of help from IK's putt coming from the other direction. Her husband Garrett's on the bag, so he's going to donate his caddy earnings to the University of Houston women's golf team. So that's where he is the coach. So
we have 2 college coaches on the bag.
Absolutely.
This week.
He's wonderful. I'm a big fan of his. I've watched him coach a bunch in some tournaments where Kathleen, my daughter's played. I think he's an up-and-coming, really good coach. She just pulled that.
Yeah, you could see it, couldn't you, Jim?
Yeah, that's not Garrett's fault. That's just a poor putt. That happens. That's tough to caddy for your wife or your husband or whatever. That's a tough situation to be in, but I know they're having a good time. I talked to him. I was teasing him. I said, you think you can get around with that golf bag for 4 days? And he was huffing and puffing after the Pro-Am, but he's doing a super job. A final hole for J. Marie Green. 2 under on the day, 3 under total. This for birdie. It's been a tricky read for the players. Got some speed to it. Well, she just knew it was fast and came out of it right away.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, so safely in on the cut line. 70-69, so solid first 2 rounds. 6 back, but big weekend. Anything can happen. Back to 17. Now Stacy for her par. Shouldn't be a whole lot in this. Okay, so she'll go over to 18. The chance for birdie or eagle. Most likely birdie. It's been a tough green to keep those second shots on.
All right, with Stacy due in November, we remind you that it's time to get ready to have the time of your life. Summer starts with a bang. Mamma Mia! Here we go again in theaters July 20th. Mama Stacy, starting in November. There's IK with Stacy and Angel Yin. Right, Judy, the tee has been moved up this year. Last year they moved the green up, and so they've tweaked it the last couple of years, and it makes for a very a par 5 that you really have to shape your both of your shots, really, don't you?
Well, yesterday we saw Lexi Thompson carry the bunkers on the left or just squeak by them, but they are very much in play. If you hit it long enough, that right-hand bunker is in play, and just past the right-hand bunker, now it starts going downhill toward the water. The water has been in play for a few people who did not drive it well on 18. But with a good tee shot, a lot of players have a chance to put the ball on the green here. The obvious bailout is to the right side. It's kind of a tricky green to hit if you cannot fly the ball over the front left bunker.
And we could barely see where Paula Creamer is. She went way left. And one of the most powerful players in golf, Angel Yin. Looks like 3-wood here. Or maybe hybrid.
Hard to tell which, but it is a pretty small head. Nothing wrong with putting the ball right at the crest of the hill, right up on top.
Especially with her length.
Hand slipped just a little. I'm not sure what the result was.
Oh. And the bunker probably can't get there in 2-9.
Yeah, you already He's in second here at the 9th. Only made 5 cuts this season. Best finish is 27th back at the Mire. So location on that left portion. Plays uphill about a half a club. That's a solid, smart play right there. She'll have a good chance for birdie.
Boy, Jim, if she could make that putt, that would...
it'd be huge for a weekend.
Yeah, that would be a win in itself, to shoot even par after the good round.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is just that little mental edge you can get going into the weekend.
IK Kim on the tee at 18.
Also not the driver.
I agree with you, Judy. You want to get it up here on that flat. We've seen the players that have had on that downslope. It's just impossible to hold that green, most likely anyway.
All right, Caroline Headwall leads by 1. You see Jackie Concolino tied for 3rd. She is with Karen Stupples.
Thanks, Grant. And Jackie, tremendous round of golf today. And we've been seeing your name start to pop up on the leaderboards just recently. What have you been doing differently?
Just trusting myself more than anything. I know I have the game, and if I can keep a good mindset out there, I feel like I can compete with the best in the world.
And what is it about this golf course that seems to be to your liking so far?
I don't know. It's just a great atmosphere here. Marathon does a great job with the loudest hole, and I think it's 14 or 15, the par 3. 18 is a great setup here with the par 5. I mean, I've made so many friends here through the Inverness Pro-Am that, they raise money for local charities. So, I have a good fan base here and good group of friends, and it's nice to have their support all week.
What do you need to get done at the weekend to take home the trophy?
Just keep a level mind, really. My bad rounds are bad shots, or, maybe not good tournaments come from me getting in my own way. So if I can just stay out of my own way, I think I'll have a good shot this weekend.
Well, best of luck with that, and we look forward to watching.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Stacey Lewis on the tee at the 18th, and we heard Karen say earlier what Stacey had said, that her tee shots maybe haven't been going quite as far as normal since she's been playing pregnant. Her iron shots still crisp and still traveling about the same distance. To the 9th.
Second shot for Allie McDonald. Currently 1 over par, so needs to maybe make birdie here to make the cut. 3 top 10s this season. A good second year. She played her college golf at Mississippi State. And the Bulldog fans will be proud of that one. Great shot, Allie. For birdie. That's a tap in most cases, so still some golf to play. A little tougher this afternoon than maybe this morning when Headwall shot 67, but she'll have a 1-shot lead so far. Marathon Classic. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think I was thinking a hybrid, but I don't think I can get with all that grass. Yeah, I agree. Left to right. So similar to the putt you had with Pro-Am. I'm not going. She's going. Okay. Right? Yeah. I don't have to go. No, you don't. I didn't go anyway. But yeah, just left to right about 3 feet. A little quicker now.
Tried to do something better than the Cheetos, but apparently I didn't.
I think it's better than Cheetos.
Now he tells me I'm eating styrofoam.
You are.
We're at the 18th. Chella Choi, Paula Creamer, Yu Liu. And here is Choi. That long-awaited victory. And we've told the story. It's been told many times. Her father, her caddy. And the deal was, once she won, he would leave the bag. Well, here he is 3 years later.
It was his chance to retire, and he did for a very short time, and she missed him.
She did.
But you know, you have to admire a great relationship like that.
Just peels off. She beat Hannah Zhang. We miss Hannah Zhang's personality. She made quite the impression in a very short time on the LPGA Tour, now back in Korea. But it was her and Chella Choi in the playoff here that Chella won in 2015.
Speaking of Hannah Zhang, I had an interesting conversation with Ted O this week. It's the first time I had met him.
Yeah.
And he was explaining to me that he was still playing in the Japanese Tour 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But
now Lydia's coach, Lydia Ko's coach.
Well, and that's why we know his name as a coach, but it was in fact Hannah Zhang who asked him for some help when he very first quit playing the Japanese Tour. And Hannah Zhang was the first player that he really got close to and traveled with a little bit, and the second week he was helping her, she won.
Paula Creamer for birdie. Got to have it to have any chance to make the cut. And she does. 71-72 plus one total. And the cut has moved back to even par at the moment. And there you see it. There is a chance it could sneak back to plus one. If it does, Paula will play the weekend. Winner here 10 years ago. So Paula Creamer got free relief after her second shot here at the par 5 18th went long and left. So this is her third shot. Might need to hole it to make the cut.
It's a nice shot, but just going to chase a little bit on by. The folks who play here when there aren't any bleachers don't get that same advantage.
Good point.
Brooke Henderson's third from over the green, Gail.
Really good second shot to get it to here. Very delicate coming down this hill. Just a little bump and run. Green runs away from her.
Yeah, she had it, the back of her stance going to go, as you said, a little bump and run. This ought to move a little bit. It does. That's a good judge of speed, and
sure
how
is.
it came out of there. That's really good. Those are the most putts we've seen. Let's go over to 8.
And a Michigander, Chris Tumulus, tee shot at this par 3.
It's just 131 yards today, playing pretty short.
We're only about a par 5 from Michigan. Just about 3 miles or so. A near ace. Back at the 18th, Paula Creamer has to have this to have a chance. Okay. Took advantage of that drop area. Gets it up and down for birdie. And the winner here 10 years ago when she opened with 60, which remains the tournament record for a single round. She'll wait and see. To the 9th.
Yeah, Yanni Sen for birdie, currently in a tie for 15th at 4 under par. That was a good stroke. Oh my, how'd that not go in? So she'll tap that to stay at 4 under. It's going to be her 6th cut of the season, so far so good. First 2 solid rounds, a lot of good ball striking, actually some good putting, but not a great day today.
We have deployed Karen back to the 18th. We saw IK go driver off the deck at 17. Looks like 3 wood here, maybe?
It is. She's got 230 to the front, but she's going to have to hit this one out of the screws and hope for a bit of run to get it on the green.
But see, she hit that fairway wood off the tee, trying to stay up there on the flat. She didn't even want to get a little bit farther with that risk and or the bunkers.
17.
Yeah, Brooke Henderson now for birdie here at the par 5.
Just a little bit of a formality, but You really want to pay attention to these.
Just to get to -8, just one back with another par 5 to play. With her length, she can get there in 2.
Absolutely, Jim.
Yeah, probably won't need driver off the tee. A solid round, 4 birdies today at -8. So Brooke Henderson pulls within 1 shot of Caroline Headwall with a solid morning. There's the projected CME ranks in green. The green's good, red's bad. Marathon Classic. We'll be right back. Katie Burnett here at the 17th, her 3rd shot, currently 1 over. Cut line right at even, so she's got at least 1 birdie there to be a little more comfortable. A couple would really help too. And that's a good start. So show that for birdie to get back to even par. That's right where the cut line is. Katie played her college golf in South Carolina. The 9th green. Difficult. Brittany Marchand now for birdie here. Been difficult to read this green. This is going up the hill. This shouldn't be too much of a break on this one. First finished 7th last week at Thornberry. 8 of 9 cuts this season, so making cuts. Well, that putter face shut down big time. Just a dead pull. Christina Kim now, her 3rd shot at the 17th. Currently -4, so just 5 back. Couple birdies go a long way. Sneak up on Caroline Headwall, who's leading. That needs a spin. Okay. Played the proper shot, just didn't get the spin she was expecting.
Our defending champion, I.K. Kim, with a third shot at the par 5 18th, and Karen Stupples is there.
We saw Jackie Concolino play a nice little pitch and run shot. IK, I believe, trying to do the same, but that checked really quick.
A little too strong with a pitch shot at 17, a little short at the 18th. We go back to the tee, and here's Brooke Henderson, and Gail Graham has been following along this afternoon.
It's been a lot of fun to watch this round of golf, kind of ho-hum. Less than driver there, and it is right up the center of the fairway.
And she has the flight pattern for the second shot here to put the ball on the green, because she so easily moves the ball from right to left.
To 9.
Brittany Marchand for birdie here at the 9th. A good solid week. Made 8 of 9 cuts this season. 7th last week at Thornberry, and then she just pulled that one. This game will make you talk to yourself sometimes, Judy. And say some not so nice things to yourself.
I know that. I could not agree more. I remember those times, and now I just get to talk to players on the screen and say, oh, don't do that.
Yeah, but we can also, when we play, we can just pick up and go on and go to the next hole. Get a bad shot. 70-68, so good start for Brittany. -4, 5 back going into the weekend. Back to 18.
Yeah. Jim makes a good point. Golf for fun is way different than this kind of golf.
Oh,
this kind of golf is, you have to put a lot into it, and it takes a lot out of you.
Well, Karen, to that point, I.K. Kim, especially in the wake of what happened with that short missed putt at the A&A, talked a lot about finding a place where she could be comfortable with herself and realize that golf is golf and it's important, it's what she does, but it's not her life.
Well, I know, and I think she put a really brave face on that miss, and I think she tried to fight it and almost denied herself the grief that you feel from something like that can give you. And I think she tried to fight through it, and it took her a long time to recover from it. And then once she started to realize that golf is just golf, and she finally got over it, wins on the Ladies European Tour, starts to play well, wins on the LPGA, and then she finally goes ahead and wins her major. And now all of that's put behind her. She can keep moving forward.
This to get to 7 under.
Great picture there of the face and the line on her golf ball.
That wiggle left immediately.
She is quite an interesting individual. She likes to take on new challenges. She likes to learn about new things. She's a very intelligent young woman. And I hope if you're going to play in an LPGA Pro-Am sometime, you might just get that girl. She's
Caroline
a lot of fun.
Inglis, her second here at the 9th, currently 5 under par. Finished 10th in LA, a couple of top 15s. Coming off a couple missed cuts, but a good week this week so far. Her college golf at Oregon, and that is a good shot. It's better than good. It's a great shot. 10th at Q School this fall. Pac-12 individual champ. Christina Kim now for birdie here at the 17th. Let it go a little bit, maybe a little bit. Just looks like a ball marker, just outside that ball marker. Yep, good putt. I should say inside that ball marker. It's 18.
And a birdie putt for Stacey Lewis to get to 2 under.
Played a really nice little pitch, Frenchie. Short-sided herself, short left. But she's going to be around for 2 more rounds of golf.
2 over today, 1 under for the tournament. Tied for 44th place. Cut line going back and forth between even par and +1. Right now it's even. So many places she goes, she's in an unofficial hostess role. The Walmart event in Arkansas, where she played collegiately, the University of Arkansas, and here she's a native of Toledo, and she's represented Marathon for a while now. We're looking at Brooke Henderson, and she's what is that, 3 wood?
It should be 3 wood, yes. 235 to the front, or 230, excuse me, the front of the green, 241 to the hole. This is quite a dilemma for her, hitting off this tee. Driver's too much.
Yeah, but she sure has laid back a long way.
She has. The other 2 players in her group are 100 yards in front of her. And this is a great line. Needs to go a little right.
Oh, and for a second looked like it might bounce out. She always chokes down on the club, and There's a good look at it there. She'll have a bunker shot. There it is. Get up and down, and Ty Caroline Headwall for the lead. Day 2 of the Marathon Classic, just outside Toledo.
I can get the bunker for you, but
But, you know, easy to say.
I have Austin Ernst at the par 5 18th, playing with Brooke Henderson and Annie Park. Second shot here. What a tee shot for Austin, Gail.
Well, she pulled it a little left and got a little brush off the trees, a kick right back into the center of this fairway. Has 135 to the front, a little bit of a downhill lie. But a big difference between hitting 3-wood.
Yeah, this is an ideal spot if you have the courage to do it off the tee.
No kidding, Judy. Her playing partner, Annie Park, is another 20 yards closer and on a flat spot. Did a very nice job of staying down and through, but left this out to the right.
There's a lot of little twists and turns in this final par 5. Where you put the ball off the tee, how easy a lie and a second shot you leave yourself, or how difficult, and then what goes on up by the green.
Gail, it is, we use the term a lot, risk reward par 5. It is that, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And, you know, Annie's just got 130 to the hole. And here's where on your second you may put an extra bit of pressure to get it close, because you do have a short club in your hand.
Bounce.
That shouldn't go too far.
But what happens is at the crest of the hill, which is probably at about 280 or something, if you've hit a big tee shot and you catch that hill, you get a little plus.
Yeah, Tiffany Joe, this is for birdie, currently at even. This to get to -1. Yes, good read. Yep, that's solid. So gets her to -1 going into the weekend. Just 8 shots back, 70-71. Good 8.
And it's Nana Kortst Madsen. 108 in the race to the CME Globe. Top 72 make it to Naples in the CME Group Tour Championship, where we had a wild finish last year with Lexi Thompson missing a short putt, Area making a putt to close it out. But you got to get there and have a chance at that big prize. At the 16th, we find young American Allison Emery. What looks like a fairly straightforward bunker shot, Judy.
Yeah, her feet are a little bit above the ball. You've got to get that flex in your knees and keep it.
Go.
Yeah, a little hand flippy, a little too much sand.
Shot 4 under par, 67 yesterday. Week off next week on the LPGA Tour, and then to Scotland, which is one of the homes of Beth Allen, an American who makes her home over there. A couple of holes to play here. She's right on the cut line of even par.
Gives her a good chance.
It's good, eh?
Good.
Well, it's there. So.
Let's go to 17.
Ashley Bunch now for birdie here at 17.
A player we don't see often and haven't seen for quite some time.
Yeah, 5 career top 10s. Yeah, hadn't played since around a couple of years, actually. You're right. A little better day than yesterday, but it's just a misread. Over to 16.
Maddie McCrary for birdie.
Could be.
Whoa. Took a left turn at the hole. She can't believe it. 22-year-old from Plano, Texas. Went to Oklahoma State in her rookie season. Went to Q school and got to the final stage and had to make a decision after she got her card. Am I going to give up my last year at Oklahoma State or not? That's not going to be an issue for players moving on starting this year. A player can defer until they finish their collegiate careers.
Mika Miyazato here at the 9th. Some locations we've seen on that left portion of the green. And she leads that out to the right. That'll probably feed off under the fringe. So,
Jim, that's a huge change, allowing college players
I think it's absolutely
to defer their membership until they graduate.
I agree.
This is Kim Williams. That's or is that Emery? I beg your pardon. That's Allison Emery playing with Kim Williams and Maddie McCrary.
Yeah, and the third in this group, Kim Williams, is another one that we don't see very often, and just once or twice a year.
One shot off the lead. Brooke Henderson, a third shot at this par 5 18th.
Very straightforward bunker shot. Great lie. And loft it up onto the green, let it release.
Sounded good.
Well executed. Very well executed.
She'll have that short putt to join Caroline Headwall at 9 under. We go to the 9th.
Yeah, Caroline Inglis for birdie to get to -6. It was a really solid shot she hit in there. Her future's really bright. She's getting used to being out there, getting a little more comfortable. Good solid start, 67, 69. As you see, Caroline Headwall with that 67 this morning. Brooke Henderson just one back. NG Chun a couple shots back. So this leaderboard's pretty bunched up. Kate Kim with 70 today. Brittany Lincecum, watch out for her. She makes a run on the weekend. We've just seen Caroline Inglis finish up at the 9th. Christina Kim still with a hole to play.
Lexi had a 4-putt today at the 12th hole. Still shot 3 under par 68. We're at the 18th, and this is Austin Ernst for birdie.
She did not have a very easy chip. The front of this green slopes away from where she was chipping from, so it released out this far. It's had a really steady round of golf. There's nothing too exciting happening. She'd love to see this go in.
You know, Gail, I have to tell you, we've seen some of the better shots played from that front bunker than the pitches. The pitches have really been difficult around the green.
That front edge is plays havoc.
A great drive. Couldn't pay it off. 68-71. Par 71, so 3 under. And that's tied for 25th place. And now Brooke Henderson with a putt to tie for the lead.
She's had several of this length over the back 9 for sure. I like to call these money putts because you know you have to make them.
She's made a lot in a very short amount of time.
Yes, she has. Young nerves, or no nerves, I guess.
this is going to be the 11th time that Brooke Henderson has had a share of the lead through 36 holes or the lead outright. She's won half of those previous 10 times. Anything can happen in 36 holes. That's pretty good. Half conversion.
Yeah, I think she has put herself in a great position, and the weekend will tell the tale.
All right, so a two-way tie for the lead. Canada's Brooke Henderson, Sweden's Caroline Hedwall. And Hedwall is the subject of today's Prudential Up to the Challenge. Had a fine round of 5 under par 66 yesterday. Hit this second shot at the par 412.
Well, she's a strong player, and she can do a lot with the ball on the greens. I like to watch her hit iron shots because she has such a strong, good hands.
Made that for birdie, and this at the par 5 18th to close it out. Just a single bogey amid 5 birdies. 4 under par 67, a share of the lead. Caroline Hedwall up to the challenge, presented by Prudential. So Henderson looking for her 7th career victory, 2nd of the season. Hedwall, Suwanapura, Concolino, Talley, Celine Herbin looking for victory number 1 on the LPGA Tour, closing down day 2 of coverage here from the Marathon. Today's coverage is brought to you by Marathon, fueling the American spirit. Volvic Vivid, the world's best-selling matte finish golf balls. Volunteers of America, helping America's most vulnerable. And by Prudential, official financial services provider of the LPGA. See Stacey Lewis after a 2 over par 73 with her husband Garrett Chadwell looking on.
How about you're going to play 2 more rounds that are going to matter until you give birth to your first child, and you're out on the practice tee grinding.
Yeah.
Does he get extra for teaching too?
Stacey Lewis for you.
Wow, that's passion. You can't teach that when you're talking about teaching things.
Yeah. She's pretty crazy about him. He probably gets anything he wants.
They get along very well. Miyazato now for par here at the 9th. There you go.
All right. Mika Miyazato playing again. She's not been around for, well, there was a good period of time where she didn't play. She is taught by Ai Miyazato's father.
Really?
Closing in on $4 million in career earnings, but as you say, hasn't played in a while. A look at the 18th. Sarah Kemp, Katie Burnett, and Christina Kim. Katie walking up there on the left, Sarah Kemp, and there comes Christina, who is easily recognizable.
I was going to say, you thought you needed to identify Christina Kemp.
Sure, you can see her from...
In her neon yellow, you can see her.
She is unmistakable, inimitable.
So this is a touchy shot that Sarah has to play, and I think that's why we've seen some good shots from the bunker, because it's just a lot easier to know exactly what the ball's going to do when it hits the putting surface.
You know, Judy, a lot of folks use the bounce, and I'm more of a leading edge chipper, and that's the hard part. Most of the time they try to use the bounce and let the club slide under, but you got to have the proper bounce to hit this shot, as you know.
And just clarify when you talk about bounce and leading edge, what you mean.
It's the bottom part, and usually on the harder surface, you're going to want a little less bounce. The softer surfaces, like Judy's saying, if you get not enough bounce, and sand's different, the textures are different. That's the difficult part. You know, you want to have all these different types of bounces, but a lot of players will come in with 2 or 3 different wedges for that reason, because of the surfaces of the sand. You've got to make the decision, do I want to be able to chip with it or hit bunker shots with it? And that's the decision you have to make.
If any of you have ever played some baked out golf courses and played pitch shots off of hard pan, that's what Jim would be referring to, where you don't want very much bounce at all.
No, you shave that bottom completely
off. It will
off.
clearly bounce.
Yes, and that's exactly what it does. It hits the ground and it bounces, and you do not get the club to slide under it, I guess is a better way of describing it. So
I think I'm with you. I think I was more of a leading edge kind of pitcher.
Christina Campbell had that putt to get to 6 under and into the top 10. And this is Katie Burnett, 126 in the race to the CME Globe. $1 million at stake for the winner of that event, and then for whoever wins the race.
She needs to get this up and down.
She's a little closer to the green than some, which might give her a little better chance.
Yeah, and the upslope as well. You want to slide this just under that ball, as you said.
She's got that face open.
Mm-hmm.
Asking for it to sit. She'll have that putt to guarantee a spot on the weekend.
You know, you just don't realize the mental torture you have trying to make the cut.
Yeah.
And we see the players that have been playing great, but to watch what they go through just trying to make the cut and that pressure, it's huge.
She's missed 4 straight. She'll have that putt to play the weekend here in Sylvania, Ohio. Brooke Henderson looking for a second victory of the season. 66 today, tied with Caroline Headwall. 65 from Angela Stanford. Multiple winner on the LPGA Tour, tied for 16th. All right, thanks to everyone who made it happen today. For Jim Gallagher Jr., Gail Graham, Karen Stupples, Judy Rankin, I'm Grant Boone. Both of the NCAA participants have made the cut. They'll play the weekend. Brooke Henderson tied with Caroline Headwall for the lead at the Marathon Classic